Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we are unpacking the epic story of Li Chengyan, a guy known across the entire cosmos as the Twilight of the Gods. I mean, get this. He was originally just an ordinary human who crossed into the world of Arcadia and somehow became the universe's absolute most feared godslayer. We're talking about a man who slaughtered millions of deities just to protect Earth. But, even a godslayer has limits. Eventually, he was captured, put on trial by the divine beings, and sentenced to complete annihilation. But because he was still fundamentally human at his core, his soul was cast into hell instead. And that is exactly where the king of the underworld, Thanos, steps in and offers him a wildly risky, high-stakes deal.
So, Thanos offers him resurrection and a real chance for revenge, but there is a massive catch. Li Changyan has to return to Earth to hunt down and kill the Arcadia gods who've invaded his home planet. The problem? He is completely stripped of all his cosmic power. He has to start from total scratch, trapped inside his original, incredibly weak human body. The system initiates his regression, and he wakes up right in the dead center of a dungeon break on Earth. So we're looking at a crazy scenario where the ultimate apex predator is suddenly dropped back to the absolute bottom of the food chain, surrounded by panicking civilians.
And he immediately runs into this massive lit RPG power gap. As the Twilight of the Gods, his power was literally immeasurable. But when he opens his status window in the Rosewood Forest dungeon, wow, the reality is bleak. He's level 0. His strength is a mere 1. His magic power is an absolute 0. He's armed with nothing but a rusted beginner's dagger. I mean, he's basically made of wet paper at this point. But crucially, he still retains centuries of combat experience, and most importantly, the special authorities granted to him by the underworld.
Now, those underworld authorities are his absolute ticket back to the top. The first one is called soul extortion. While all the other normal humans around him are exhausted and crying for help, Li uses this ability to just grind relentlessly. By storing the souls of the monsters he kills, like these black mamba swarming the dungeon, he can burn them in purgatory flames. This doesn't just earn him extra karma, it rapidly restores his stamina. He literally never has to stop to rest. This completely separates him from the pack right out of the gate and lets him accelerate his leveling at a terrifying pace. But his ultimate tool for revenge? That would be the Executioner's Sword. It's an authority designed to carry out divine punishment on covenant breakers. In practical terms, it allows him to seal gods and literally steal their divine authority. This is the exact mechanic he's going to use to scale all the way back up to omnipotence. Now, he can't use it right away because his stats are way too low and the conditions are super strict, but it represents his whole overarching goal. He isn't just going to kill the gods, he is going to strip them of their power and make it his own. Because of these crazy abilities, his leveling speed is just breathless. I mean, starting at level 0, he systematically exterminates exactly 444 black mambas. This unlocks achievements and boosts his base stats. Then, he does the unthinkable for a novice. He challenges the dungeon's boss, the Bloody Mamba, completely solo. He absolutely slaughters it, rockets to level 10 in record time, and when the system gives him traditional class options, a ticking clock forces him to pick a secret, highly destructive class called the Runekeeper. Now here's the kicker. All of this insane progress is being broadcast live to the heavens. You see, the dungeons are essentially scouting grounds for the gods to find their apostles. As Lee points out, those arrogant deities barely even notice mortals, treating them as nothing more than fleeting creatures. And here lies the incredible dramatic irony of the whole story. The divine spectators tuning into his channel think they're just using him for their own entertainment and prestige. They have absolutely no idea they are watching the very Godslayer, who is actively plotting their total annihilation. He is secretly, masterfully manipulating their hubris. So, of course, this triggers a massive godly bidding war. You have these huge constellations practically begging him to be their proxy. Good Season to Hunt, who is actually Pabalseg, the daughter of the evil dragon Tiamat, offers him dagger skills. This mysterious snake that wraps around the world offers a role of enlightenment. And then, shockingly, one of the most feared entities out there, Mephistopheles, the great demon who chases the abyss, offers him the final observer role. These cosmic heavyweights are throwing everything they have at him, completely oblivious to who he really is. In Li Chengyan, he milks this attention for everything it's worth. By baiting the gods and making these wild, high-stakes bets, like promising to solo a boss monster in under 30 minutes just for their entertainment, he extorts an absurd 205,000 karma points from them. To put that into perspective, while other players are fighting for their literal lives just to get a handful of points, Lee is accumulating hundreds of thousands of karma by treating the gods like his own personal ATM. But here's where he really twists the knife.
When the system finally demands he choose a protection star from all these eager gods, he just lets the timer run out. He boldly rejects every single offer so he can remain completely independent. Because of this, the system grants him the achievement, an enchanting man, and he earns another staggering 100,000 karma. The divine spectators are absolutely infuriated by his greed and his independence, but they are also deeply fascinated. He's playing a very dangerous but highly lucrative game.
Now, Li Chang'an isn't just leveling up, he's aggressively covering his past weaknesses. Remember, he didn't lose his previous cosmic war just because he was outnumbered. He was defeated because his divine status was drained by severe poisons and the curse of Gaia. So the big question is, how do you build immunity to the very things that killed you? Well, his solution is absolutely terrifying and really shows his sheer, unhinged determination for revenge.
He isolates himself in the real world, deploys a rune of stealth, and undertakes this completely ruthless method. He intentionally consumes a cocktail of 5 deadly lit RPG poisons. We're talking eating the poison gland of a plague spider, absorbing the fang of the bloody mamba boss, ingesting the burned toenail of a firework tiger, and more. He deliberately induces a critical near-death poison state in his own body, forcing all 5 of his major internal organs to clash with the venom. It's madness.
But there's a method to the madness. This sheer toxicity forces his dormant fire energy to awaken, unlocking a hidden piece, the sacred fire of the 8 trigrams. This legendary ancient fire literally rages through his body, incinerating the poisons, burning away all his impurities, and regenerating his magical power organs. He emerges from this near-death experience with a continuous purification trait and absolute immunity to 10 different poisons. Talk about a massive power play. And man, this insane, deadly grinding pays off in just a few days. Look at this stat jump. His strength goes from a measly 1 to 50. Dexterity jumps from 3 to almost 50. Magic power goes from 0 to over 30. He has completely broken the normal scaling of the system. He is now strong enough to shift his focus from just surviving the tutorial dungeons to actually executing the next major phase of his plan. Section 2, Real-World Vengeance begins. Let's get right into it. Armed with this incredible new system power and his poison immunity, Li shifts his focus back to Earth. It's time to systematically dismantle one of his greatest enemies, the Void Monarch, an invading god who has set up a massive presence in Korea through human proxy clans. But Li doesn't just charge in blindly. He's strategic. He targets the White Tiger clan, the top-ranked group backed by the Void Monarch. He raids their corrupt high-off department to stop illegal human sacrifices, completely cutting off their resources. He overpowers Yasing-wan, the Void Monarch's elite warrior, and crucially, he manipulates a unique force called shadow energy to literally mimic, understand, and steal his enemies' techniques right in front of their faces. Now, this shadow energy ties into a seriously dark revelation about his origin. He isn't just a regular human. He is ghost-born. This means his existence wasn't brought into the world by natural means, which left him with a lifelong curse and a grotesque spiritual resonance. But instead of letting it hold him back, Li Chang'an weaponizes this cursed status. By understanding his own shadow and inner darkness, he's able to completely overpower first-generation top-tier players who rely purely on standard system blessings. So, to actually take down the gods, he has to secure these cryptic scriptures, which kicks off what is basically an escalating boss rush. He hunts down a massive Class 4 disaster bird called the Jigu, gaining its demonic vessel. He plunges into the Changi Cave, which is this parallel dimension of endless fear, and entirely conquers it. He even briefly survives being pulled into Mephistopheles' personal demon zone. Finally, his wild journey leads him deep underground to the aorta of a dead primordial being known as Surtur. And this leads to an absolutely spectacular climactic moment. To claim the ultimate power, Li Chang'an literally dives into the molten lava blood of Surtur's heart. The system goes completely crazy. His body undergoes a massive mutation. He doesn't just gain stats here, he physically evolves. His title changes to Jigu's giant vessel as he transforms into a literal giant of flames. He is writing his own myth into the system, becoming an entity that the gods cannot simply ignore or swat away anymore. Which leaves us with this final, highly provocative thought. We have watched Li Chang'an rise from a level 0 mortal, manipulate divine bidding wars, ingest lethal poisons, and mutate into a literal giant of flames. He is playing the system far better than the very architects who built it. So think about this.